Right here in front. Jefferson County Court at law number 2 is back in session. The court is in session with the arraignment docket on today's date, May 13th, 2025. Case is style State of Texas versus Larry Stoker, cause number 25CC Sierra 0716. Mr. Stoker, your full name is Larry Stoker?
Yes.
Stoker, would you please raise your right hand? Stoker, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Stoker, you may put your hand down. Now, Mr. Stoker, your case was scheduled at 9 a.m. on the court's arraignment docket on today's date. At or about 9 a.m., the court's bailiff called your name at the courthouse door. You did not answer. And then before court ended, your name was called again at the courthouse door. And I would imagine that had to be about 11. That's right. I think it was 11:40. First case I called was 11:41 a.m. And the next bond forfeiture was 11:43 a.m. Yours was the 11:43 a.m. on today's date. And your name was called again at the courthouse door by the court's bailiff. You did not answer. And the state moved that your bond be forfeited. The court granted that motion to forfeit your bond. Okay. Now you're here. Now I think you appeared. It was after 12. I think it was after 12 because I saw you at about 12:30 or 12:20, 12:30, somewhere around that time. I was sitting outside the courtroom. You were on the telephone talking to someone.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Now, state, you have any questions?
Briefly, Your Honor. What was the reason for your absence this morning?
I really did. It really wasn't on my mind. I seen this in May 13th, like a month ago. And I thought I added it to my calendar, but I didn't. So I just woke up, my mom told me, she was like, hey, call, you got court. And I just didn't even realize.
You said somebody called you.
Yeah, my mama called me.
What time was that?
Like 11, 10 going on to.
She called you. Where were you?
I was in my home.
Oh. Yeah, I'm just looking at the code set aside, obviously. If the chapter provide exoneration if it was a death, sickness, or some uncontrollable circumstance which prevented his appearance. And it must in every such case be shown that the failure to appear arose from a full fault on his part, cause mention this. Okay, failure to bring. Okay, state, what is your position?
Our position at this point is to leave the bond forfeiture in place based on the questioning. There was no reason that was cited in the code for his absence this morning. That being said, the state does have an offer on the case from the prosecutor on that case. If you
Okay, let me do this here. Miss Bailey, could you, I need a clipboard with the paperwork. Okay. Okay, Mr. Stoker. The bailiff just handed you a document that's titled, the first document is titled Judge's Explanation of Rights to Defendants Without Attorney. And there are some other, there's two additional documents that are also on the clipboard. One document is Jefferson County Affidavit of Indigence. It's a 3-page document. And the other document is a document that is titled Waiver of Counsel for Purposes of Entering a Guilty Plea or Proceeding to Trial. Okay. Now I'm going to go over, now as a defendant in a criminal case, you have a right to have an attorney. I'm going to go over the judge's explanation of rights to defendants without attorney because it talks about and tells you or informs you of your right to have an attorney. All right. Now that first document, as I mentioned to you earlier, is titled Judge's Explanation of Rights to Defendants Without Attorney. And it states, as a defendant in a criminal case, you have 3 options. Do you see that statement? Okay. Number 1, you may hire an attorney. Do you understand that option? Number 2, if you do not have enough money to hire an attorney, you may request an attorney be appointed to represent you. Number 3, you may represent yourself. Now, the first paragraph says, if you want an attorney to represent you and you have enough money to hire an attorney, your case will be reset to give you time to do so. That is, to give you time to hire your attorney. Reset means that you'll be given another court date. Okay. Now, the second paragraph states, if you want an attorney and do not have enough money to hire an attorney, you will need to fill out a financial questionnaire so that the proper person can determine whether or not to appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you understand that? Okay, now, the financial questionnaire is the 3-page document that is also on the clipboard. It is titled Jefferson County Affidavit of Indigence. Do you see that document? You would have to fill out the first page of that document. And then if you go to the second page of that document, at the top, it has defendants. It has defendant's oath at the top. You fill out that portion. And then on the middle portion, it should say unsworn declaration by a defendant. You'd have to fill out that portion too, and then you'll stop if you want a court-appointed attorney. All right. Now go back to the first document, judge's explanation. Now the third paragraph states that you may not speak to the prosecutor about your case unless you sign a written waiver of your right to be represented by an attorney. What that means is, if you would like to represent yourself, you'll have an opportunity to talk to the prosecutor. The prosecutor is the assistant criminal district attorney standing to your right and my left. You'll have an opportunity to talk to him to see if you can work out a plea bargain, which is an agreement to settle your case. Now, you cannot speak to him unless you first sign the written waiver of your right to have an attorney. The waiver is the third document in that on the clipboard is titled Waiver of Counsel for Purposes of Entering a Guilty Plea or Proceeding to Trial. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Now, this next paragraph states, be aware that there are dangers and disadvantages of self-representation. Waiving your right to an attorney and representing yourself may result in the worst outcome in your case, including the loss of significant rights and opportunities relating to military service, possession of a firearm, housing and public benefits, child custody, immigration status for non-citizens, and employment. Now, if you choose to proceed without an attorney, that is, if you choose to represent yourself, you may change your mind about representing yourself at any time, and you may request that an attorney be appointed to represent you. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, at the bottom of this document, it states defendant's choice. Mark initials next to only one choice. If your choice is to hire your own attorney, then you'll place your initials on the first line to the left at the bottom. If you would like to apply for a court-appointed attorney, then you'll place your initials on the third line to the left. If you would like to waive your right to an attorney, that is, give up your right to an attorney, and represent yourself, then you'll place your initials on the fifth line at the bottom. Now, once you finish initialing one of the 5 lines, you will sign your name on the line that is titled defendant, and you will date it today's date, May 13th of 2025. So let me do this here. If you want to hire your own attorney, this is the only document that you will sign. You will put your initials on the first line, sign it, and date, and that's it. All right? If you would like to apply for a court-appointed attorney,
I don't have to pay no more.
right, you have to qualify, but you wouldn't be paying, well, it all depends. If you get probation, and if you are financially able at the point that we do it, and you're found not to be injured, you would have to pay. But anyway, now, if you want a court-appointed attorney, you will place your initials on the third line here, sign your name on the line that's titled defendant, and date it, and then you will also have to fill out this document. You will fill out the whole front page. And on the second page, you will fill out the top portion that's titled Defendant's Oath and Unsworn Declaration, and then you'll stop. All right. Now, if you would like to represent yourself, then you would have to you'd have to place your initials on the fifth line, right here, sign it and date it, and then you would have to read and sign this document that is titled Waiver of Counsel for Purposes of Entering a Guilty Plea or Proceeding to Trial. Do you understand? Okay. Hold on a minute. You can have a seat at that table. Jefferson County Court Law number 2 is back in session. The court is back in session in cause number 25 CCCR 0716, case in style of state of Texas versus Larry Stoker. Mr. Stoker, I have before me 2 documents. First document is titled Judge's Explanation of Right to Defendants by Attorney. Recognize this document? Is this your signature on the line that's titled Defender? And are these your initials on the line that state you'd like to apply for court-appointed attorney? I also have another document that is titled Jefferson County Affidavit of Indigence. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And on page 2 of the same document, there's a signature on the line that is titled Defendant. Is this your signature? Now, Mr. Stoker, before you signed and initialed these documents, did you read the documents?
Yes.
Did you understand what you read? Is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Okay, now, Mr. Stoker, I read your answers. Based on your answers, you meet the eligibility requirements for the appointment of a court-appointed attorney. And the attorney that will be appointed to represent you in this case is Attorney Giles Cole. Attorney Cole will be given information to contact you, and you will also be given information to contact him. The court coordinator will give you that information. Oh. Now, Mr. Hubel,
Yes, Your
I
Honor.
was just thinking, I remember the last time we called his name was at 11:45.
Okay.
And then not 11:45, 11:43 AM. And I think he said he came here at 12, which was like 17 minutes later. And I know at one time when we had a situation like that on somebody on a bond, we didn't go
Right.
forward on the bond forfeiture.
I think that issue was closer in time, Your Honor, but I see your point.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
okay,
So what we're saying.
we will.
yeah. Okay, so Mr. Stoker, your bond is, we're gonna recall the bond forfeiture. The bond is not gonna be forfeited. You will not have a warrant out for your arrest. But you need to be here on time the next time you came. We had just ended court when I remember the time it was 11:43 AM this morning, and I think you said you came at about at 12, which is about 17 minutes later. So, but you need to be here on time. Let me tell you this here. You informed the court that looking at your paperwork, you have a child. Okay. And lack of a better word, I mean, you probably understand this here. It's time. I know you say you're 17, but you have a child now. It's time for you to man up. Okay. And that basically means that you have some responsibilities. Okay. It's not your mother's responsibility to wake you up. Okay. You have a child. And so you have to take care of your responsibilities. You're grown up now. Okay. And I know that you said that you're in school, and based on what you was telling me about your situation, I'm gonna give you some advice that my dad told me and told a lot of young people growing up. And that was regarding education. Okay. He said, nothing in your head, nothing in your pocket. Okay. You don't get nothing in your head, you ain't gonna be able to get nothing in your pocket. All right. And so you're in school. We hope that you need to put forth your best effort. 100% now, because you have some responsibilities. That child that you have, when that child start crying for food, it's not your mother's responsibility to feed your child. It's your responsibility to feed your child. It's not your mother's responsibility to put clothes on your child. It's your responsibility to put clothes on your child. It's not your mother's responsibility to put a roof over your child's head. It's your responsibility to put a roof over your child's head. You understand that? Okay, so at this time, playtime is over. Okay, you know how you was in school and used to take naps, right? And then at some time you go out and had recess and go out and play in the play yard. That's over. It's work time. It's time to get to work, okay? Because somebody at your house, that child is dependent on you. Okay, don't let her down. Okay, your mom didn't let you down, your parents didn't don't let that child down. Okay? It all depends on you. Okay? So at this time, your case is going to be reset. We're gonna have to put the number up here. This thing. You're gonna get your case reset. Once you get your case reset, he's 17 though. He's probably too young for CICE. Yeah, you can well, yeah, it's probably a little too young. We'll give him a brochure anyway, Miss Mosby. One of those brochures. We're gonna give you a brochure. It's a job training program that they have. Okay. Okay, I don't know what kind of programs y'all have at y'all school, but you need to be looking at doing something to generate an income and a better way of life. You know, education is your passport to your future. Okay, it can lead you to a better life. All right. Once you get your reset, you're free to go, and you have a blessed day. Huh? Yes, that's the reset.
Next time, 9 sharp.
Yeah, yeah. And then I'm gonna tell you this here. Like my band director used to tell me, tell us. They tell you be on time. If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. Okay.
See you later.
All right. Thanks a lot, Andrew. Okay, and this will conclude the calling of the court's arraignment docket in County Court at Law Number 2 of Jefferson County, Texas. Judge Terrence L. Holmes presiding. Everyone, please have a blessed